Hello, kiddos. My name is Bailey.
I'm Raza.
And this is Marching into Madness.
And
today we're going to talk about Biden and Bernie and the battle of the fucking boomers,
yes,
bud.
Old people.
Yeah, old people going at it over who should rule the free world.
It is worth every effort.
I like Bernie Sanders. That's how I'm going to start this. I like him because he's progressive. He believes in the welfare of the people as opposed to the interests of the few. He's always been a lifelong socialist, if you want to throw that word around, but to a degree where he's not he's a democratic socialist, and he's been at the forefront of many issues like climate change, women's rights. He was against all the wars. And yeah.
And on the other hand, we got Biden, who's the people's politician. Ideally, before you have Monsieur Trump coming in and taking that title and making it toxic. He's the good old guy who relates to the everyman who works in the coal plant and played some football and fought in the Vietnam War.
And was like, had gangs, corn pop.
Yeah, he used to beat people up behind the barn all the time. Yeah. His policies are rather libertarian, I would say.
Yeah, and also he loves giving free massages too.
Okay, yeah, and that's a whole other, man, insert the fucking things here.
You're turning 11. You're beautiful. Just remember, no dates till you're 30. Just remember, 30 years old. No dates till 30. Hey, Mia, how old are you? Why don't you kiss me? Now, you getting in this picture? I want you next to me. I want you next to me. You get over here by me, okay? And so it's just who I am.
Yeah.
There's too many kiddos that he is very tight with.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I'm struggling to is I'm not giving it a fair painting of his political positions like you did for Bernie. Biden is part of the more right-leaning Democrats. Center-leaning Democrats. That's how you would word it. Okay. He's one of the more center-leaning Democrats that has many more values that resemble the Republicans. So he's more favorable to people that may not be ready for more what they would say quote unquote extreme liberal opinions, but that is something that clearly by his face we both disagree with.
I'm thinking of a skit I saw of Joe Biden on SNL.
So Biden is in a safe bet for the Democratic Party. The status quo, yeah. The status quo.
Yeah, doing a job for you.
Bam, bam.
Yeah. So why are these two these two candidates important? Right now, Bernie Sanders is doing good, but not only Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden is also doing good. And
some background on Biden, there's a couple facts. He's got the credentials is the main thing, right? So he has been representing as a senator from Delaware since 1972. So that puts a little bit of experience in his pocket doing some of the more high-end legislature in the States. His experience is further backed up by the fact that he was VP. He was in the great old White House since 2008, under our friend Obama.
Oh, Obama.
I mean, that's just not something that you do to your comrade.
And then he was able to serve as the POTUS's supporting role for another term when Obama won his second chance to go in the White House for a nice presidential stay. His tenure in the White House, though, wasn't his first time. Back in '88, Biden himself tried to run for president, but apparently he was chastised by the whole world.
Why is that?
It was plagiarized.
Oh my God. Could you imagine a politician telling the truth?
Imagine I was thinking that when we were setting up for the episode, imagine getting caught for plagiarism in '88. That's some serious fucking journalism
right there. That's pre-internet.
Yeah. One of the good things he did do also while working with Obama was assisting in delivering the Universal Health Care Act to try to deliver more health care. Now, the details escape me. Why did he do that again?
It's because his son, Beau Biden, died in 2015, I think, of brain cancer. So he uses that as like a pushing force for his healthcare. He makes it personal too, also because his first wife and daughter died in a car accident, in I believe 1972. So our man, granted, he's weird. He's dealt with a lot of hardship his entire life.
Yeah, which does show some empathy in a politician of his size, because realistically, it shouldn't matter to him whether or not the healthcare is universal, because he's already balling. So it's like a good thing, because he's doing the empathetic, well, if I wasn't this rich, they wouldn't have even had the slightest of chances.
Yeah.
Because he's compassionate.
Because he has money. So he is kind of a good guy. In 1998, he passed the Violence Against Women Act, the VAWA. And it was kind of a big deal because it changed how it gave women rights.
Deservedly.
More protection, I want to say. In 2003, he was a strong voice for the Iraq War, but then later, as more evidence came out, he backtracked, essentially. And then in 2008, he went to Germany, spoke for the first time as a vice president at a Security Council.
Cool.
And then that was his first time on the world stage.
Oh.
And we saw Uncle Joe just in his natural.
Letting it
all loose.
Yeah.
And stuff. In 2017, just before Obama, when did Obama leave? 2016?
Yeah.
He got the some sort of medal.
Yeah, the Freedom Medal.
The Freedom something medal. It's the highest honor.
Presidential Award of Freedom.
The Presidential Award of Freedom. It's the highest medal a citizen can get in America. Mm-hmm. And that, you can see a picture today. Uncle Joe's crying because the elites give themselves a pat on the back.
Yeah. He's a good boy because he put more money in the hands of white people.
Under a black president.
Yeah.
Which is ironic.
He maintained the status quo.
He did. That's why I want Bernie to win. He's kind of a spicy, he's kind of a maverick, the bad boy.
He was the bad boy,
he still is the bad. For completely different reasons.
Yeah.
He's kind of creepy.
And so it's just who I am.
Yeah, he touches. He's very personal.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Bailey.
I know.
Want to vote for Joe Biden? That's Joe Biden. There are several women who have come forward to say he's giving them unwanted massage. I shouldn't be laughing.
It's not a laughing matter.
It isn't a laughing matter. It's serious, but he's an unwanted, like, back rubs. Like, who does that?
Constantly. See clip here.
Mom, you can let you know. Come on, Dad. Okay, here you go.
And it's just
like he's breathing down somebody's girl. He's like, this poor girl's like, I'm gonna take you home and make a nice salad.
Probably definitely salad, knowing Joey.
The support and encouragement that I've made to women and some men have made them uncomfortable.
Moving over to, oh my God. Moving forward to 2019. Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Moving forward to 2019, he said he wouldn't run for president. Mm-hmm. Psych! I want it.
I got hungry. I watched Obama get it. I want it now.
Now I can cut the malarkey and give him more unwanted back rubs.
No more Uncle Joe.
No more. It's gonna be corn pops.
Cousin.
What the hell, man? Why are you repping this fucking train wreck?
But so where were we headed?
He announces his bid in October of last year, October of 2018. He said he wouldn't do it, but then April 2019, Mans is running.
Mans is running?
Mans is running.
I'm not surprised by that choice, by any means. As I said, the Democratic Party would have wanted him in there as the middleman. Someone probably put pressure on him. Who knows? Maybe it was Bill.
Hillary. Bill.
Just saying Bill. Yeah, Bill. Can't do his accents.
I do not have sexual relationships with Joe Biden.
You got pretty close there, though. Now that we've gotten a little bit of a background on the man's man, if you're picking that corn, who you're going to want to support and vote for. Now, I want to know who y'all yuppie coastal elites support. Get out of here, influencing our decisions with your liberal policies.
And our progressive agendas for equality. We're talking about my man's, more or less, Bernie Sanders.
I support the burns.
He's yours.
I want the burn.
Give me the burn.
I mean, that's just not something that you do to your comrade.
Comrade Sanders over here, he ran as an independent.
Okay.
He's the longest serving independent in U.S. history. When he runs, though, he runs under the Democratic because it's easier to.
Yeah.
For the last, I want to say since the 60s, he's been a forefront of the workers' rights. At the University of Chicago, he was working for he was a member of the Young Socialist Party of America. I'll probably have my name wrong, and Bailey will have the correct name.
Yep.
From the 70s and the 80s, he tried to become a congressman, but failed. But then he became a mayor of his good old state,
Vermont.
where he actually did a lot of good work and stuff. And then it kind of catapulted him to build his political career. In 1988, he ran for the House of Representatives for a seat there, and then he lost it. But 2 years later, he wins by, oh my, there's so many fucking numbers. He won, and then he remained there for 16 years, 1-6.
Yeah.
And then in 2006, he ran for the Congress, right? And then he won that. And he remained it for 2006 years, and then he
which is the normal term for Congress.
I think
correct?
so.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he won that again in 2016, where he's still serving to this day. In 2010, his filibuster, I forget how long it was. Bailey will have a thing here, a thing where you talk to delay a bill.
Yeah, and you're allowed to go as long as you physically can.
His is historic because his filibuster was to protest the tax cuts that Bush was giving to the corporations during the Iraq War. It's one of the things that led to the
recession of 2008.
The recession of 2008. That filibuster is now in textbooks as how you're supposed to filibuster. My man is a big deal, understand? Bailey has more to say about this lovely man.
This man, self-made, self-paid. Right? The big thing about Bernie is he gets all his fundraising from third-party sources rather than the super PACs or corporate giants that people usually hound off of. When he ran against Hillary Clinton in 2016, he was able to secure over $1.5 million in funding. Now that same year, he also won the distinguished recognition some sort of credit of being the first Jewish person to ever win a presidential contest. Now, I had to Google that. A presidential contest means just simply winning one of the states
in a campaign.
Which is very cool, actually.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, his son, too, decided to try to run for Congress. And
we're half-assing this.
Unfortunately, he lost.
Yes.
Now, fast forward a few years, right? We're now in our current election run for the 2020 elections. Our man Bernstein.
The burn.
He managed to secure $6 million this time, and now he's coming at their throats, okay? To support his ideology of socialistic policies that support the workers, yada yada. This man was the first to unionize his campaign workers and ensure that they had full health benefits as well as the other life insurance guarantees, which is wild, especially when talking about politics. As much as it's not a world that I would want to work in, it's crazy working as a staffer. So it's admirable if you're willing to give these people giving so many hours to you some actual health benefits.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
Especially in the States.
And that's what I'm saying. Bernie is the man of the people.
He is. Now, unfortunately, being a kind-hearted soul doesn't necessarily mean he's invincible. Good old Burns here, he suffered a heart attack this past October.
And people laughed. Wasn't that funny?
Or heart complications.
I think there was something wrong, like a stit or a still to it.
Well, either way, he is getting rather old. That is his biggest critique. He kind of does look a little bit like a skeleton, but a very intelligent one.
Yeah.
So he's been back. He's reassured. All of the debates since, the man has been fully energized. But the reason I touch on this is because it's an argument that is made against him quite often.
It's ageism.
Yeah, his ageism, that his health is going to affect his running durability. But I mean, we got Trump, a man who runs off of aspartame and methamphetamines.
And we have Joe Biden over here who's like getting dementia. He called President Sanders.
Yeah, exactly. On top of that, this man, he deserves to live because he's got the goodwill of, he was a conscientious objector to the Vietnam War. So not only was
What does that mean? Conscientious objector.
It's
because the other reasons were religion and some other, like, I have to work or something.
He was
So conscientious objectors, like, explicitly saying, I don't want to go to war.
He's against the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you'll see a lot of the memes and people talking negative about Sanders or his big millennial and the generation just above it. He's got a lot of influence with that generation. And now the funny thing is, it's not even just due to his social media presence. It is because of his policies. Sanders offers college tuition to be, is it free?
Free, but also like cheaper.
Okay. And he's also looking at universal health care.
Yes, which we have.
Which we have because we're fucking Canadian, and it's great.
It's great.
It's one of the best things about being Canadian, and I'm genuine in that.
There's issues for our healthcare system.
It's inevitably, if you're going to give it for free, there's going to be dumbass lines, there's going to be long waits.
But it's free.
But so, he also is offering that, and then he's dabbled in the touches of universal basic income.
Yes.
But I don't know how to feel about that personally, and I don't think Sanders, although he likes the idea, it seems like the way he speaks on it, he also doesn't seem to find a logistical path to make it a reality. So he's also done a little bit outside of that, and
For climate change, we're gonna get more on that much later because that's a bigger thing. But his, what do you call it? His
platform,
his
mandate?
platform. That's the word. Platform mandate. $16.3 trillion, which is, it's almost the national debt of America.
Yeah.
$16.3 trillion to address climate change. But more on that later. That eye roll gives me a scare that you didn't.
I may have some monkeys behind the scenes doing some research in a computer lab.
Okay.
You know, like think Dexter's Laboratory.
Except with monkeys.
Yeah, they you only have to pay them in bananas. So, one of the biggest faults / benefits of the Biden campaign is him leaning on his legacy that he created as VP for Obama. So using this Obama-Biden legacy, he's able to make his own political campaign look a little bit better over what was done during that presidency term. However, that can come and bite him in the behind sometimes because there was...
Behind. Yeah. Wasn't it during Obama's administration he had the highest amount of drone strikes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, that said, although he sounds like, and we've presented it as such, that he is a more centrist Democrat, he does support many policies that are seen as traditionally liberal or democratic, such as providing free tuition, and all cheap.
Cheap?
Yeah, oh, I thought, no, and not even, either way. Lower tuition, because that is one of the things that affects all demographics in our nation, right? Everything requires some sort of post-secondary degree, and there's a big income barrier.
Yes.
So, discussing that income barrier.
Rich.
To accommodate these plans to help alleviate financial pressure as well as other societal pressures on the middle class and defeat this pay gap, pay gap, the divide at pay, but to fix the middle class. His first of this 5-point plan: 1, to revamp the tax code.
to educate. There we go. To educate the middle class.
3, to empower the workers.
And then 4, to reinvest in the economy.
And 5, to invest in innovation and entrepreneurship.
But that's
Now, those do seem a little vague to me. But
CNN just gave me some. I went to every sort of website to look at his policies, and they just said the most blatant shit. I was like, that doesn't explain anything to me.
I hate where our world is
They're
going.
just words and sentences.
And now Biden, because he doesn't want to scare off the QAnon supporters, he hasn't explicitly
Does he have
said.
QAnon supporters?
Oh fuck! I guarantee he does.
Okay.
He does. He will not explicitly say he supports or does not support climate change, although he has leaned towards
He does support.
policies that support the environment. He's
Yeah.
still taking corporate money and
Yeah.
supporting damaging industries like fracking and coal mining, etc.
He's like on paper, he supports it.
Yeah, on paper he supports it. That's a good way to put it.
I'm good at this.
And finally, Biden does do his best to appeal to the minorities and oppressed people of the United States of America. Their good old equality-driven society. Uncle Joe, here to the rescue.
All right.
You know, he's gonna pet your kid's hair until he brings peace to our nation, one child at a fucking time.
And is giving more unwanted fucking encounters.
Life, for that matter, is about connecting.
So the reason why he's so popular with his base, Bailey, is because he's keeping the status quo, as we've mentioned before 4 times already. But he wants to maintain that Obama-Biden legacy. 2 best friends going at it like they're in high school, beating the living crap out of corn pop. And at the same time, he's the Democrats who are center left will also go towards him because he isn't really, his thing is bipartisanship. He's all about going across the aisle. He even said he would be open to have a Republican VP, which is his centrist head going off tangent. I think centricism is garbage, so that's my take. He's a good centrist president or candidate, which will potentially, hopefully, do something, but has history has told us centrists don't do anything. Obama is a good example of that.
I am a reforming centrist, so I have no comment at the moment because I am still evaluating my own emotions.
I bet you are.
So if it's so negative to do nothing and be a centrist, what are Bernie's policies?
Free healthcare, free tuition, climate change, all those good things. But his policies are a little too left, but they have to be too left because those moderates aren't doing anything, right? His policy, and when he started to campaign on his policy in 2016 during Hillary's reign, he was being torn up by left and right. Now, and then he ultimately lost. Spoiler alert. Well, look who we have in the White House. I believe if Bernie Sanders was the nominee in 2016, he would be the president then. I believe that.
Fair.
But he's this anti-establishment, this socialist, his socialist views are the ones that are rejected by a lot of people who aren't particularly
Down for the commies taking over our government?
Commies, right? They throw that word around like it has meaning.
That's a side rant for another day.
When they say socialism, Venezuela comes to mind. I mean, like
2 different political beliefs.
Yeah,
Like socialism and communism are not the same thing.
And yeah,
Kids, remember that. Take that home,
please. His ideas are for the people.
Yeah.
And when he starts saying, "I'm gonna tax the rich," who's gonna be angry at him? The rich, right? And it's crazy because the kids want him, young adults, minorities want him, the LGBTQ community wants him. People actually want him, and a lot of people want him to be president, and I want him to be president. But he is a very special candidate because he is being attacked from his own party too, not just just to write. A couple of days ago, Warren, who is Elizabeth Warren, she said somebody in her campaign said during a private meeting that Bernie Sanders said, oh, women can't be president. But that's not true because there's actual evidence from the 80s where he's speaking to like a public school saying women absolutely should become a president. There's a change, but the change isn't clear fast enough. He campaigned for Hillary when he lost. He actually wanted Warren to run for president. And here's the thing, Warren backstabbed him to confirm that lie. Good. So Bernie this time around has a high chance of winning because a lot of politicians are now polling in single digits. You can't attack the man because he's been consistent for his entire political career. There's proof of his consistency, so you can't really hurt the man.
At least Sandy can go into this whole thing scot-free. If he loses, he just loses based on the merit of who he was or the fucking whole thing being rigged.
Yeah.
But at least it wasn't some scumbag shit that he did, you know?
No, exactly.
Coming back to bite him in his ass.
He doesn't have to worry because his entire life is on public record.
Yeah, so, exactly. And then he's displayed it and done nothing. That's why you live your truth. Live in your best life. Live the truth. Keep the same energy. Support Jesus Christ. Go to Sunday service and listen to Kanye West.
Riding a horse. In 2018, it's a different story because now people want him here. In 24 hours, he became the most people fundraised to him. 6 million. He broke a record by being the most funded candidate in the election by 6 million in the first 24 hours. That's crazy. And all of his money, as you said earlier, is from his supporters. If he wins the presidency, he doesn't have to appease to any suicide pact. There's no lobby groups.
Koch brothers. There's no motherfuckers behind the scenes.
There's no interest groups. It's just us telling him what to do. But he's got the people behind him, and good. Yeah.
And we must accept the moral responsibility.
So, Daly, how is it? I understand his base is a very interesting.
It's gone through some flows. It's gone through the typical liberal, progressive online flows you've seen, where sometimes the people taking up the mantle of social justice fit a certain typical description, and there's stereotypes applied. So in 2016, when Bernie first came out with all these radical policies wanting to change the way things worked, they got dubbed the Bernie Bros. Because it's typically a bunch of hipster white dudes supporting them, right?
Yeah.
You're stereotypical. They got a weird beanie cap on. He's got just a mustache, no other beard hair, just the stash.
Just the mustache, has suspenders
some
on.
wax in it, right? But as times moved on, and he did more down-to-earth interviews with the likes of Killer Mike and other leaders in diverse communities, Sanders has created like a good push of like a diverse audience behind him. And when his funding has been fully acquired from the people who support his campaign, it's that much more impactful in terms of meaning, because it means these diverse communities are directly supporting Sanders as their representative to create change for them.
Right.
The other point that's fitting in there is the actual age range. When I say diverse, it's not just a racial discussion.
No.
It's everything from genders to age. His spectrum of his audience is widening to a point that is very beneficial to him, because that's something that none of these other politicians have. Although Trump is evident of that. He was an expert at targeting one type of people, and he's having troubles getting everyone else to rally around him now. Same thing with our boy Biden here, Uncle Joe. He's got this core group down, but he's struggling to get the other rest of the fucking world on his team. Whereas Bernie, through his organic outreach, has maintained this larger reach to the American peoples as a whole. And when we're talking about the cultural melting pot that is North America, he kind of want a repretation of that.
And it's not, I think it's ironic that a cultural melting pot, the icon of that is a white guy. You know what I mean?
He's Jewish, though.
It's white.
It wasn't even 100 years ago that people were massacred for being different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So and he's a very big critic of of Israel. Policies are basically the same. You don't fix.
Don't fuck around.
No, don't fix what's
Quit
not.
screwing around.
Start screwing around.
So his policies are pretty much not screwing around.
Not screwing around, and they're the same. Don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah, well, especially if you got there. Yeah, if you don't fix what's not broken.
He wants to raise the minimum wage to $15. Wants to tax the rich. He actually wants to tax the rich.
Yeah.
He's very vocal about that. He wants to give a 3.5 million tax. If you make 3.5 million, it's gonna be a tax increase on you, I think.
State tax.
State tax. He wants to. If your state tax makes 3.5 million, starting at 3.5 million, he'll tax 75%, which is a whopping amount of money.
Whopping amount of money, but you're still left with 25% of 3.5 million.
Yeah, which is, I don't know what that is, but
It's a scary shift. It's a hard shift. But with the direction society is going, I think we need to take leaps like this. Because otherwise, this stagnation clearly is leading us to Trumpitos.
and they're like, this money is going nowhere.
Yeah,
Why do you have all this money?
exactly.
You're just gonna pass it down? And there's a report came out when they pass down the money, it gets less and less because each generation is spending. They're not even investing it. He also wants to break up the big banks and Wall Street, which is good because Wall Street somebody has to control Wall Street because they're the reason why we had the recession. And then the other thing, he also wants to give tuition forgiveness to low income, which is kind of cool. We have that here, but it's like different.
Yeah, it's OSAP, it's run provincially, it's not a nationally predicated thing that they have to give you a student loan.
Yes. Water dungeon here.
The big old monster that is climate change, right? It's become a growing issue in modern politics, right? Everyone from liberals to conservatives.
Conservatives don't believe in climate.
Yeah, but they're forced to talk about it, whether they believe in it or not.
Yeah.
It's something that has to be discussed lately. Now, Sanders is the main candidate bringing it to the forefront in many of the debates nowadays, which is a very honorable thing to do, because at the very least, even if you disagree with it, we got to be debating about it on a public stage. So alongside his cohort in the Democratic Party, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
I have to walk you through that.
I got there. They were both very, they're pushing to change the infrastructure, financing, and social policies highly aggressively to cut carbon emissions and improve the American government's approach to how it takes care of the environment. If you don't want to attach the term climate change, then think about how they just approach environmental sustainability is the fancy conservative term for it.
Yes.
If you don't want to offend someone with a lot of money who has very pale skin, you call it sustainability.
That's it?
Yeah, because then they can get behind it, because then it's not about the environment, it's about making products that last longer so that we both don't have to spend as much money.
Right.
That's how you bow it up to them. Because you're going like, I don't want to use copper pipes in the ground because they're leaking dangerous toxins into the environment.
And there's mercury
And the conservatives like, yeah, but it's like 50 cents. And you're like, yeah, but if you put in the plastic pipe, you don't have to change it for another 100 years. Like,
oh shit, good profit, more?
All right, deal. Yeah. Let's save the environment.
Let's save it.
Did you want to talk about that?
Oh, well, you know.
Intergovernmental
panel for climate change. So the intergovernmental panel has said if they want to stay within the threshold of 1.5 degrees within this century, they have to cut the global emission by 25%. By 2030, they expect the world to go carbon neutral by half. But then by 2050 to go fully carbon neutral, but then afterwards go carbon negative, meaning using more products that use renewable energy like solar, wind, air, and other things.
And when he's talking about the degrees, right, the scary part about climate change is every year the total amount, like how much it is on average higher in temperature each year is increasing that dramatically as going up a degree, 2 degree by yearly.
If it goes up by another 1.5, we're looking at the point of no return.
Well, we've already passed the point of no return. Goes past 1.5. We're fucked. Because that was the scary announcement this year, that they're like, no, we passed our projections that there's no returning. Now if we go even further, there's like, we're fucked.
We're fucked.
Like,
So
the world's fucked.
This
Like,
is how to prevent a future, the shit. Not to stop it, but how to slow it down.
Yeah.
So Joe Biden and the other candidates have climate change in their platforms, but you have to go digging into it. However,
you did the digging.
I did the digging.
You did the digging.
It's very basic.
What's the scoop?
It's like small amounts of money, still have interest, because all of these candidates have, except for Sanders, have oil lobbyists on their side. So it's hard to have a climate change platform when you have
You're getting that sweet oil
money. Bernie Sanders is like proven when you don't have anything. You can go so aggressive because there's nobody telling you what to say. Because we're at that point of way past no return, Sanders' plan is way more aggressive. By 2030, he wants the states to be 38% on less emissions. And then he needs, as we said earlier, he needs 16.3 trillion in order for his plan to get into place, which is 16.3 trillion is going to be mostly federal money, and that may add to the federal debt. May, right?
Yeah, but this is more important to be spending on than more tanks, you know?
Yeah.
Which are doing more damage.
Exactly. So his plan gets money from different sources of income. So 16.4 trillion from clean energy, so renewable and energy. 16.4 from selling energy. Fuck. Selling and energy. 2.3 from income tax from the new jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. He's gonna get money from several different places. Selling energy, of income tax from these new jobs, clean new jobs. Cutting military spending that requires oil. So in the Gulf of Oman, cut that budget in half. Storing clean and energy, managing the energy, investing in infrastructure like vehicles, others cities to be completely green, and of course jobs.
He also plans to go after the fossil fuel industry in a criminal manner, right? So one moment. They have evaded taxes, desecrated tribal lands, exploited workers, and poisoned communities, his proposal reads. President Bernie Sanders will ensure that his Department of Justice and Securities and Exchange Commission investigate these companies and bring suits, both criminal and civil, for any wrongdoing, just as the government did with the tobacco industry in the 1980s.
That name just rolls off the tongue, eh?
Oh, and he also claims that he's going to create about 20 million jobs doing this, in contrast to the 6 million that are already unemployed. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. These jobs will be required to reach 100% renewable energy, resources, uses, application, right? You need to actually change the structure from within. So some of the things he plans to overhaul in order to do that is manufacturing, right? Making homes
that are energy efficient, I think. That's what he said.
Yeah, at the very least, like more sustainable.
Yeah.
You know? And then he also plans on energy efficient vehicles and changing engineering policies for that, as well as developing sustainable agriculture.
There it is.
So no more cows farting into the environment.
Well, that doesn't, okay.
No, he's gonna audit the cows.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, you put fartometers on them.
Okay.
And they count how much they fart into the atmosphere, and if it's a bad one,
slaughter it.
no mas.
No mas.
You're now an impossible burger.
Yeah.
The reason this deal is such a big deal
deal is such a big deal?
The reason this deal is so climactic for politics right now is because it will take mobilizing the economy and the infrastructure
The resources.
and resources of the country, because that's what infrastructure takes, bud.
Shut the fuck up.
The same amount of overhaul it took to take on the fucking Nazis in World War II.
Yes.
So do we want to save our planet? And do we want to kill Nazis?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go. I want, how's it go?
Like that.
I want 50 Nazi scalps by the end of the day.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know. So no matter if we're debating the Burns or Uncle Joe,
Uncle Joey.
they all got to go up against
Orange Man.
Orange Man. Orange Man, the scary orange man in the sky. Right? So how does Trumpito relate to both these candidates?
Jesus for a second there. I was like, well, his attacks are predictable. You know, going after, he doesn't attack them based on the policies, he attacks them personally.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is specifically interesting because his son, Hunter Biden, could potentially hurt his presidential run, his father's presidential run. So Hunter Biden, there's some weird sort of meeting that he had where he was on the chair of the Ukraine firm or whatever. He's a very dirty side, a very naughty side.
Now it's all about taking selfies together.
Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's, I think, eldest son.
Yep.
It's kind of a wild cannon, like his dad. The apple does not fall far from a tree. The guy likes crack, strippers, and things off his butthole. I kid you not, there was a report that came out for like 2-3 months ago that there's pictures of him being pegged. So you know what? I don't find it hard to believe anymore.
If he wants to, just let the man get pegged.
Yeah.
I'm not down with it, but like, why? If he wants to, let him.
I'm all for freedom, freedom of personal choice.
What? Just because you're Uncle Joe's little boy, here doesn't mean you're allowed to get pegged. You lose your pegging privileges after being related to Uncle Joe.
You said peg way too many times in that one sentence. And Joe Biden's retaliation is typical. He's calling him a xenophobe, saying, I will unite the country. It's literally two old men fighting against each other.
Yeah, and but Trump always has the upper hand with his insults.
Oh, yeah. Because he's so creative about them.
Exactly.
He's very creative.
Exactly. And Biden's just going to call you a fucking hooligan and say, I'm not having any more of these shenanigans.
A malarkey.
So, Trumpito, everyone's in his firing aim, right? So even Sanders gets caught every now and then, but the issue is it is a lot harder to get Sanders, especially because he's just not an idiot.
Like he's consistent.
And well, as we explained earlier in the video, he's also very transparent about his history. So it's nearly impossible to dig up any dirt on the man. So what Trumpito tends to lean on in order to get some critical points on him is his socialist aspects. We said it as a joke earlier, but you look at all the people just yelling out commie. All Trump has to do is push that Cold War button. Yeah. He just has to hit the McCarthyism button.
Yeah.
Bop, bop, bop. Yeah. And then slowly he's hoping people in Trumpito's range of even considering to vote for him will start to lean that way more in the debates. Now, something he also pushes towards is his choices on taxing the rich so heavily. Since the rich and the 1% have such a large influence over the voting population, corporations, company policies, Trump appeasing those people by telling them that they're going to be losing more money, it's going to be harder for their businesses to stay operational.
Which is not true.
Minimum wage isn't beneficial for the middle class.
It's not true.
I agree, but they're all very easy attacks to take at Sanders from the perspective as a conservative.
Because if America's all about freedom.
Yep.
Freedom. No socialism. Even though like America has socialist programs. What is Social Security?
Yeah.
What are fucking
welfare.
Roads? What are welfare? What are
aqueducts, water systems?
Yeah. What are those things?
Right.
And did capitalism create them? Yes, but it's their socialism programs. God, I'm so smart.
Humans. And to top it all off, since he can't actually hit anything but his policies, Trump likes to point at Sanders being weird. Because he's a kinda, he likes to wag his fingers a lot. That's the one thing I don't like about Sanders. When he's
he's an old man.
but he doesn't need to typically go like
Old
this.
Jewish men go like this. Have not spoken over.
But not both at
Have
the
not
same
curb your
time.
enthusiasm. He's going like this.
Good point.
All right.
Make a good point. That's what it feels like.
All right. You're the hater.
Is that what you want out of your leader? Imagine Sanders on like an international platform. He's standing across from Angela Merkel going, you just don't get it, Angela.
Better than.
Oh, I almost actually tweaked my neck doing that shit. Oh, fuck.
So what are your thoughts on this election season? Is it going to be the same as 2016? Or is it going to be something better or different?
I don't have as much faith in the intelligence of the general population of America.
Oh, wow.
So I think, unfortunately, our boy Uncle Joe is going to take the upper hand in this situation just because it is more palatably digestible for the middle Americans.
Right. I disagree. I think Sanders, because he's beating everybody in the polls. He wasn't doing that with Hillary, but now it's more like he's leading in polls. The Iowa caucuses are coming up. I think if he wins, he's gonna Trump, because now Trump's attacking him, Sanders, and that's a red flag for Trump, but not for us. But he when he wins, Trump's done.
And I was saying earlier too, though, that I think Trump going after Sanders now is also a very purposely deflective move in light of his impeachment and the current Iran situation that we are in.
Yeah.
But
he's the only actor in Home Alone to be impeached.
I think if it comes down to it, Sanders would beat Trump just because he is radical enough that it would be divisive, that the lines would be drawn in the sand for people to be able to not pick to vote with their will in mind on their choice rather than sitting there going, oh, I'm going to do the lesser of two evils.
Exactly.
Because like that was my biggest issue with 2016 is Hillary's pretty fucking evil
but
too.
She's not as bad as Trump.
But she's pretty fucking evil too.
She's bad, yeah. But then
so even Biden is at least better than Hillary. At least Hillary was like
she has some
fucked.
Shit. Totally. I think America's time as a superpower is done. If Sanders is the president, it needs to humble it. But my mom would say Sanders is going to inherit such, if he wins, he's going to inherit the mess of Obama, Clinton, Trump.
Yeah, he will. He will. No matter what, he won't be able to make as much dramatic change as he wishes. Yeah. Even if he came in, he might do his Green New Deal. I think he might do one of the climactic things he's presenting, but there's no way he'll be able to implement all three without causing some sort of economic chaos in that nation.
But then at the same time, he doesn't have any interest groups on his back, so he doesn't care about them.
Yeah, but it's just simple financial structure. You got to get through Congress. You got to do this. There's a million things he's going to have to pass to get it.
What I'm thinking is what's going to happen, the same thing that happened in the midterms. The House is going to go blue, stay blue. Congress is going to go blue too. So it'll be easier for him to pass stuff.
Ideally, I would be concerned at how our trade partners and shit like that would act. It is very interesting that you say America is losing its seat as a superpower because essentially everything Bernie is presenting is addressing the class disparity that is going on in the States, and that is something that's indicative of a country losing its top tier first world status as the class disparity.
There's a class warfare
larger whenever a country starts to slip from its top seat. We saw it in Brazil. We saw it in several other nations.
Yeah, even China.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen during Trump's second term? I think
I'm very scared, but it is a very high possibility that he could win it again.
Yeah, I think
it's a terrible fucking thing, but
he may win it again.
There's a good chance that he can.
Yeah.
Just because I think in his second term, if there's not a war going on prior, he's gonna tease it like a carrot until he's in office, and then completely fuck off on it and lie about it like he lied about everything else. So I think it will be this big drama at the beginning of, if he wins, I think it will be this big drama about either an existing or a threat of war, and he's going, I didn't say that. I didn't do. I just killed the one general because it was just a command that my generals told me. I wasn't trying to pick a fight. I was just doing what was best for America.
I love how
he's just gonna immediately backtrack on everything because
like he
he got his security seat back. So,
but then he's done after 4 years. But I don't think he's gonna last. He may quit himself.
I think if it's that bad, like but if he quits, it's last minute. He's gonna quit in like some sort of dramatic fashion. There's a high possibility he quits too. I think that Trump's biggest fear is taking a loss. So I think if he would rather dip the fuck out of there before he takes a loss.
Yes.
So whether it's impeachment, whether it's him losing the election, he last minute, 2 weeks, a week beforehand, he'll be like,
I'm done.
I'm done. I'm out. I quit.
But
My
then,
terms, bitch.
That's a blow to his like to the Jordan Petersons, to the Ben Shapiros.
Yeah, but then his legacy isn't ruined.
His legacy is ruined. He doesn't have a legacy.
Not with his base.
He has a legacy. You know, he has his legacy is the camps. His legacy is Ferguson, Puerto Rico, Florida, all of them. Flint. Flint's Obama's.
Oh, true. You're right. You're right.
This last 2 years were the highest amount of mass shootings in the States. That's his legacy too. He has an inherent. Anyways, next one. Who do you think for Joe Biden? Who do you think his running mate should be? It can be anybody, or it can be on the campaign. Granted, you can also pick a Republican.
I think it should be Warren.
He won't pick Warren.
He wouldn't pick her, but I think she
too-
would balance him out well and still appease his voting base.
Yeah.
It'd be really fucking cool if he offered Sanders the position, because Sanders this is probably the last go he's gonna get. It would be really
he's
awesome
gonna go
if he
at it
gave him the
again.
opportunity.
He's gonna go at it
Well,
again.
possibly. But I think Warren logistically would balance him out the best.
Yeah.
He wouldn't.
I think
pick
somebody
Pete's too
boring.
It would be someone boring, because everyone else in the running right now is too new to politics for Biden to choose. Because that is the one thing Biden would want someone that's aware.
He even said, he would go across the aisle and get somebody Republican. Was like, good luck.
You said that, but I don't know who he's viable, because too many of the Republicans have crossed the line too far. So
Paul
there's
Ryan?
no way any of his chiefs.
No, Paul Ryan's gone.
And no one like Paul Ryan. I guess Paul Ryan does look good in contrast now, but Paul Ryan, no one liked him.
Yeah, no one liked. Well, Paul Ryan.
The Republicans didn't even like Paul Ryan.
Mitt Romney, you mean?
Oh, if he maybe Mitt, Mitt.
Maybe Ted Cruz.
No, you wouldn't take Ted Cruz. No.
I think a good running.
Maybe Mitt though. Mitt is a really good fucking choice.
He's a very central. He's a very central.
Could see him getting Mitt.
Center right, yeah. I think a good running mate for Bernie would be Andrew Yang, for sure. Because like Andrew Yang has the same, even though there's actually, because they're both like revolutionary ideas. They're both like 1K bro, PS5. Mm-hmm. I think Yang would be a good running mate.
I don't know how prepared Yang is for
a
position that high.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have high hopes for Yang in the long run as a national politician.
O'Rourke, there you go.
Yeah.
O'Rourke. And then Kamala Harris can be fucking Joe Biden's sugar mama.
Yeah, there you go.
Some racist term that Joe Biden has made for her, probably.
Oh, yeah. Who knows?
Anyways, so that's our episode
on Biden and Bernie. We hope you got a little bit more context of how this wacky, stupid political world works.
Yes.
You can catch us. This is our fancy formal format, but if you go click to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button.
We'll have different stuff.
We need the subscribers.
Yes.
Feed us subscribers.
We want to get that blue check mark as soon as possible.
Yes, please.
Please.
And then you go there. We got podcasts. We got more formats like this. If you're looking for actual traditional formal reports on news topics, all that junk. You catch me on Instagram at gnarly_media. Catch the link in the description, because I ain't spelling that shit. And you plug your pluggables.
I got get me on. You can find me on Instagram at the description down below. Also, sad story. My Twitter got suspended because I was speaking truth to power. So help me get my follower count back up. That's in the description below. Yeah, and we hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you in the next time.